Thanks, Gregor. Afternoon, Andrew. Just how would you explain the process of ramping up here? Now your playoff spot is locked down. What are you going to use these last 4 games for in terms of tuning up?
I mean, I think we've kind of treated the last 4 or 5 that way. I think like our game has actually been pretty good, like the way we're trending. So, um, it's just a matter of kind of getting that playoff game solidified and getting comfortable in it, and trying to recreate a little bit of the energy and the preparation that kind of goes into that. It's a little bit more dialed in your warm up, a little bit maybe quieter in your prep, and then kind of sticking together on the bench, all that kind of stuff that when you face adversity, you're going to need to kind of rely on each other. And we're going to need to do that in the next 4 to kind of prepare ourselves for what lies ahead.
We'll go next to Jeff Hamilton from the Winnipeg Free Press. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, Andrew, you guys have been, saying all the right things, and I don't mean that in any other way than the fact that you've been dealing with this streak, that slide on a positive mark, looking at focusing on what you guys are doing well. As far as leading into the playoffs, now I know you want to be playing your best hockey, or at least that's a cliche. What do you need in these last 4 games, victory-wise, to kind of make sure you're feeling good heading into the playoffs, or does that matter?
I mean, I think winning games is going to make you confident, but I think if we win games the right way, then I think we'll find a blueprint that we really like, and we think that we can copy night in, night out in the playoffs. And, we think that's going to be our avenue to success. So I don't think it's result driven necessarily, but I do think that winning some games, getting on a little bit of a run here and doing it the right way, because we think if we play the right way, we should, we're confident in our game that we should be coming out victorious most nights. So I think it's kind of finding that blueprint and trying to stick to it as close to as much as possible, I guess, the last 4. And I think the results will take care of themselves.
We'll go next to Kelly Moore from 680 CGOB.
Hey, good afternoon, Andrew. Just in looking ahead and getting ready, what's more important, playing with the confidence that you would have gained from ending the losing streak the other night, or also maintaining a desperate approach, or equal parts of both?
Probably equal parts of both. I think playing with us, I don't know. I don't like the word desperation. I like sense of urgency a little bit, just like an extra little pep in your step, win that extra battle, make that extra play. So I think that's definitely part of it, but you don't want it to be leading into desperation where you're kind of getting too crazy, and it's almost like an underconfidence, like something crazy has to happen for you to win. So fine line, but I think you can kind of find both, where you find that confidence and you, while playing with that sense of urgency, and you kind of like I said, that's kind of the blueprint I think we need for moving forward.
We'll go next to Scott Billick from the Winnipeg Sun. Go ahead, Scott.
Thanks, Gregor. Good afternoon, Andrew. Just wondering, in terms of accepting the defensive game that you guys have to play, because you guys, obviously you want to play offensively and score goals and all that, but during the streak, and Paul Maurice alluded to it a little bit. Have you guys gotten to a point where you know the type of game you have to play to win hockey games and to potentially win a playoff series?
I think so. I think it's kind of understood. I think the blueprint from the last few games is it's along that lines. It's never perfect, but and I don't want to say we're playing defensive. Like, I think that's not entirely accurate. But I think just being a little bit more aware and not taking as many chances when we don't have the puck, whether it's, our F3 diving down, or, forward, like staying behind the net, waiting for a puck to come down that never does. And then it's a 4-on-3 rush or 3-on-2 rush or whatever it is. So it's not necessarily playing defensive. It's just what the game demands of us. So I guess I'd change that phrase a little bit.
We'll go next to Paul Stravevsky from NHL.com. Go ahead, Paul.
Good afternoon, Andrew. I think everyone feels differently as to what constitutes a rivalry, but probably we can agree that, having to play a team 9 or 10 times in a year can breed pretty good conditions for one to be created. Now, do you feel like the Jets may have created a new one over the course of this year, or maybe some other teams that you have seen that you weren't thinking of as rivalries before that now you do?
Yeah, I don't know. Rivalry is kind of a tough word with, like the NHL. I mean, you play every team usually. So obviously this year you play a team 10 times. There's obviously going to be some dislike, but I think rivalries kind of develop off playoff series, honestly. So I think, Calgary a little bit after last year's playoffs. I think Toronto and us were battling for top spot for a little while there. So I think, those games had a little bit increased intensity and maybe created a little something. It's not a rivalry necessarily, but, I think as we go here and through the playoff series, you'll start to see a little bit more of that, and probably more of that creeps into next year, with rivalry type series. I think you'd say that with us in Nashville from a couple of years ago, where it kind of bled into the next season or two, where there was a little bit of animosity, and I think that just kind of comes off of playoff series.
We'll go next to Murat Atesh from The Athletic. Go ahead, Murat.
Thanks, Gregor. Hi, Andrew. Not a ton of practice time this season. So when you do get, a dedicated practice day after a travel day, are you focused more on, like you say, playing the right way on your team, on all of those details, or do you prepare for the individual opponents as much as a typical year?
No, I don't think we're not really worried about opponents necessarily, especially right now. I think we're kind of worried about our game when we're practicing out there for the most part. So I don't know. I mean, I think part of it's just like getting your individual game where you want it to be. And then part of it's just, how that coincides with our team game. And then some of it's just, working on things that you want to work on. So, we haven't had many this year. And I think now is a lot different than, a month ago or 2 months ago. So, I think today just try and get better at a few things, sharpen up, get skating, get your blood pumping, get the plane off you a little bit, and then, move forward to tomorrow. I don't think there's any rocket science behind these practices right now.
And final question to Ken Weaver from Sportsnet. Go ahead, Weaver.
Thanks, Gregor. Realizing it's been a limited sample size in terms of games, what kind of growth have you seen from Ville Heinola from last year, Andrew?
Probably just more assertive. I think there's a couple times in the game that noticed that his, obviously he's not the biggest guy out there, but he was putting himself in good spots and good body position where, he was going up against the bigger player and wasn't allowing him to the front of the net and wasn't, shying away by any means, just because his gap is his right, his angles are great, and he kind of knows how to figure out when a guy's on his back and whatnot. So definitely adds a dimension back there of puck moving, and he's going to be special. And I think he definitely added to our team and helped us get the win the other night. I think he's going to be a great player. He moves the puck well, and it's as a forward, that's all you want, is trying to get the puck to the forwards as quickly as possible.